Alright, so for those of you just tuning in, my name is Resonance22, and welcome to the Age of Empires 2 Escape Champions League Tournament, hosted by Escape Gaming and sponsored by Microsoft. You can find the other matches in the video description below. And thank you as always for the support, especially for the content that I do for games beyond just Age of Empires 2, as it helps expand the Aoe2 community. I look forward to reading your comments, and without further ado, I hope you enjoy the games. Indeed, we are into Game 3. This is going to be between Mattheus and Hearttt as part of the Escape Gaming Champions League, and this has been an awesome series. Before we get too far into this game, make sure that you watch the previous matches in this series first, or you're missing out. This is Game 3. The previous games are great. So, on the right side, we've got Mattheus playing as the Red Indians. And on the left side of the map, we have Hearttt playing as the Blue Indians. And today, I have the pleasure of being joined by T90Official. So, T90, take it away.
Alright, so you said it's an Indians war. Let's talk about the maps. We'll start with Mattheus. Mattheus has some awkward hills. That's the first thing I noticed when I looked at his base. He has two golds and a stone on the back, which is great. Wood line to the south and the east. Plenty of wood, plenty of gold, plenty of stone. It's just that locking that down at times can be difficult. So if this goes late game, walling in between the wood lines on the front will be helpful, and locking down that hill. Hearttt, he has less hills going for him around crucial resources, and it's a little bit easier to wall as well. But this is not a huge deal. This is not game-changing. I think this game will be especially interesting because it's a mirror matchup, so it's truly about who makes the best decisions, not just about your options, just like last game, which was awesome. And I guess we should touch on Valley, right? So it's not just the golds and the stones and the wood. Yep. Valley, you oftentimes see aggression in the center. There's deer there, there's shorefish, Indians. They're a civilization that often click up the feudalage on 20 population, so very early because their villagers are cheaper. And if you want to afford more of them, afford more scouts, afford more camels, etc., then you need to get to the deer in the center there.
Indeed you do. As especially what's really interesting about the Indians is that they have an eco bonus that very rarely comes into play, which is that the fishermen work 15% faster and carry plus 15 more. And we all know how fast that villagers actually gather from shorefish compared to fishing ships. It's very efficient. So this means that building a mill in the center of the map is even more important on a map like Valley. So I'm definitely excited to see the decision-making between the players being the decisive factors. There's also going to be various things at play, such as how the map has been generated. That's not going to determine who wins or loses, but it's whoever adapts better to the map is going to be the one who comes out on top. The gold is very safe for Hearttt, at least his main goal.
But he lost a villager!
Yeah, but he just lost a villager, so it evens out. It evens out.
Jeez. I mean, apparently the gold's not safe, Rez. People die over there, jeez. That hurts. Luckily, he can still advance early because it's so easy to do so as Indians, but that's never good to see at an expert level. That's rare.
That is absolutely rare.
So I wanted to touch on, just compare this game to last game a little bit. Mattheus was in a stronger late game position, and thus he was able to win against Hearttt, but I don't think he took the best engagements. I don't think his judgment was there in the fights. So, thinking Feudal and Castle, as this map is a little bit more open. Oh! You saw it too! Mattheus just lost the villager.
It's cursed! It's cursed! What's going on?
He's a nice guy. He's just trying to even it out.
No, it's good sportsmanship. Everybody applaud.
Exactly.
It's good sportsmanship. That's what. Yes. Oh, God.
But anyhow, back to what I was saying. back to what I was saying. I would give Hearttt the edge in the micro wars and the battles. So Mattheus should probably look to take advantages of the things he did last game, like the relic positions, the gold positions, and the map positions. Hearttt clicks the feudal age with 18 villagers, and it will be 19 villagers for Mattheus, which is the only reason he's a little bit behind. And both players have pushed in deer. It'll be the second deer now for Mattheus, and I believe it was, also 2 for Hearttt. So pretty close with everything. 2 lumber camps, we'll see. 1 villager dead, 2 deer, everything's even here for the most part.
Indeed, we're very close. It's just a villager difference between the two, and we do see that reflected in the age-up time, although the age-up time is a little bit off of Heartts. It's more than just a little one villager. We'll see, though, if that makes a significant impact. I'm going to say it might not, just because even though Heartt is, about 45 seconds faster, guess who's fully walled up? Mattheus is. Mattheus is very nicely walled up, and he also happens to have some safe golds and stones, so we might see another epic game on our hands. I'm very, very much looking forward to this one.
He's getting his boar now. That's so weird.
All right.
He got his, I was comparing the cow numbers, and I was thinking, why on earth does Mattheus have less cows? They didn't lame each other. Well, Mattheus is getting his boar as he is on his way to feudal age, which is a little bit unorthodox. The problem with walling up like this, Rez, is it's expensive. It's expensive. It does buy you time, but it's expensive, and I believe it's scouts for both. That was my assumption going into this anyway. Mattheus now lacks the wood to build the stable.
And he walled his own scout.
Heartt is already building his. So I think the better economic approach with this is to wall up after you build your stable and just take your good old time with it. And when you wall up as early as Mattheus did, you kind of surrender full map control. You might not even build a stable. It's weird.
He was like, I don't have enough wood because of exactly what T90 said, so I might as well get double bid axe. And he's like, oh no, at this rate, I might as well get horse collar as well. Actually, at this rate, maybe I should just do something else. He's also forfeiting map control, so not only did he spend, $4 billion, $6 billion, $8 billion, $20 billion, it'll get hard to pay for it on the wall, but also, he, importantly, this is forfeiting map control on Valley, where there's so much deer, so much swordfish, and I would like to see Heartt take advantage of that. I would. As soon as Heartt realizes that. Yeah,
he definitely sees the walls there. He almost lost the villager Heartt to the scout from Mattheus, but now Mattheus will have to run away with his scout. So I guess a good job from Heartt to keep his villa alive as he's trying to wall up. Heartt saw the wood line on the left from Mattheus. He scouted that, but I don't think he'll make the decision to go forward with the tower. It's just better for him to add farms at home and probably stop creating scouts now. I think he has more than enough.
Well, that's why we got the res farm. I do think that is the right decision. It is tempting to forward your opponent here. Very tempting. But you must resist. Resist the urge to trush. Why? Because Heartt does not have enough information to make this worthwhile. He definitely could, but crucially, he has not scouted the gold at the front on that hill in Mattheus' base. So he doesn't even know that would be the perfect spot to drop a tower if he was going to. All he knows is that Mattheus is fully walled up. He doesn't really know where Mattheus is, he doesn't really have a good idea of where Mattheus' villagers are. He only knows where one wood line is. And there's a safe wood line at the back. It's just not worth it. I prefer that he does a little bit of scout pressure on these palisades, walls up himself, tries to get his economy going, and don't think he'll get through the palisade wall in time. But in the meantime, it looks like Mattheus was like, actually just gonna fast castle, but get double bid axe and horse collar first. Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting because Mattheus has gone for these aggressive walls. As you said, his opponent doesn't know where his resources are. He also doesn't know if tree range is hidden here. Like, Mattheus could be going with 2-range archers, and he's about to unleash 15 of them with fletching. Like, Heartt has no clue, and that's why he's keeping an eye on all of this. But yeah, it will be I don't know if it's a fast castle, but it's a fast castle.
It's a castle.
Off of a feudal age scout build. So, regardless, 1 or 2 camels will be able to kill. Well, 1 camel can kill those 3 scouts from Heartt. So I think we'll see camels on camels in Castle Age, but Mattheus clicks up first.
I spent forever on my fast Castle Age into Knights tutorial, but now I need to do a new tutorial on just getting to the Castle Age. It's not a fast castle build, just a Castle Age build.
Yeah, man.
Just do it.
Definitely. I'll wait for that. Can't wait.
I'll try and get Nilly's analysis and Viper's analysis, and we'll see. Now, I think this is fine, though. He's adapting. And in the meantime, Heartt's not going to get to accomplish too much with his scouts, but I also think that Heartt is adapting to this properly. He's only 40 seconds behind in the Castle Age, and they're both Indians, so they're both very content with just booming, so they might as well just drop down as many town centers as they can and get a massive, massive army. I find it interesting how Mattheus is playing this game, but I think, though, that information is crucial. And that's why losing your scout early on can be devastating. And, whoa, rogue spearman! Watch out!
Yep. Is that Spearman? I guess it's worth it. We're talking about a very small investment, but I think the reason Mattheus made that was so he would have to stop Wong behind. That was getting annoying. He had to build palisades and houses and idling villagers. Rez, one thing I want to point out quickly.
Yes.
Mattheus doesn't have great TC locations.
You're
like,
correct.
He doesn't have flat ground. So if he wants to TC his gold, that's awkward. If he wants to TC his wood, that's fine, but he can't even TC the gold in the front. Whereas if you look at Hearttt, Hearttt has flat ground, so his TC locations will be better. And Mattheus added scouts for some reason. That is a surprise to me. Maybe to pick off monks later on?
Ah, but he's remembering the golden rule. Get Bosaw very quickly. T90, can you even build a town center on that southern gold? Or is that hill just... I don't think he can. I think he was trying to, but I don't think it fits. That's awkward, so you're right. It's actually even worse, potentially. I really feel like he barely has a place to put a TC. He probably has to put it at the bottom of that hill. Yeah, though the hill placement is quite terrible for him indeed. Has the scouts for map control. I think he did that specifically because... Ooh, wow, great control by Mattheus. Once again, another scout with 1 HP. Every game I cast with you, it's just like, the unit control is out of this world. If only we saw some galley wars or something. But like, yeah, you get the Bosaw first. Defensive monks, this is interesting. I've actually cast a similar game like this with Memb. Wow, yeah, he just has no good places to put his TC. I think he went for the scouts, like I said, because I think he assumed that Hearttt would take advantage of the fact that Mattheus purposely bottled himself in with the wall and would be gathering from the deer and the shortfish, but everyone forgot it was Valley, even though we have it in the PDF.
I think it's just too much of a risk.
It is. It is.
It might be too much of a risk to go to the center. I like the scouts edition from Mattheus, in all honesty. If he utilizes these correctly, but look at this! Oh, he lost his monk. Did you see that the monk came out of the gate? Yeah. And Hearttt happened to be there.
Whoa, no!
that's huge. I was just about to say that Mattheus would use his scouts to pick off monks, and that's why he added them. And I liked the idea. Well, he lost his scouts, or sorry, his monk to camels, which is what he wants to convert. So it's a boom war, Rez. Yep. I doubt we'll see a ton of upgrades. It's about the small things, getting the relics now, because this will go late game, keeping your army numbers up, and I guess there's still a big question mark over how Mattheus will lock down these golds on the hill, and the stones even, like those resources, that hill, that's tough when you're going with melee units to protect it.
Basically going to have to rely on protecting his back resources with a castle, and then putting his TC in crappy positions. He's just going to not have good TC positions. But if he puts a castle at the front, that's gonna probably cost him and just end up being tread fodder, as this game is transitioning into an arena-esque metagame, so we are gonna expect to see trebs. We are gonna expect the game to go on for a while, and relics are really gonna matter, and I love that Mattheus is grabbing the relics that are more out in the open first.
Yep.
Before he goes for the safe ones, which are on the right side of his base. I also like how Heartt's like, this isn't actually arena. I would like to build a forward siege workshop.
Yep, forward siege workshop, which Mattheus has scouted, by the way. A good scouting from him. He lost a camel and a monk there, though, in doing so. Also, Mattheus is keeping his one scout active next to the ponds in the center, looking for monks. He hasn't found any pickoffs just yet, so I guess it will have to be defensive monks, defensive siege for Mattheus, but you don't want to invest too much into that defense, because then your Imperial Age time could be lower if your opponent only makes 1 or 2 mangonels. So it's tough to judge this, but I like how Hearttt is making his opponent pay for the fact that he's just full walled and has played this defensive from the very beginning. 1 conversion for Mattheus, though. That's solid.
That is, and that was a fast conversion. Very well played. The fast resurrect explosion manages to get that 1 camel, and honestly, that does matter. Especially when we're in such a defensive position, where the point where Mattheus has 3 monasteries. You mentioned it's important to not overcommit, and I agree, but he's got 3 monasteries. Again, he's just very scared of his front gold on that hill that he can't TC, and also the TC that he has over here is not optimal. This is just not a place you want to put it. It's just going to get Mangonel shelled.
his lumberjacks. He's lucky he didn't lose any villagers there. Lots of weak villagers running back away from that wood line. The monk even got hit in the face. He's on 3 HP. It really was because the Mangonel was firing uphill.
Yep.
That was fortunate for him, I guess. Conversions in the center, or attempted conversions for Heartt. Heartt loses a monk. So the KD, very close, but Heartt has lost a few more monks than his opponent. I say that as he sends a camel after this monk. No, he patrols.
There's a hole in the wall now. Okay, but that's not relevant yet. So there's a very interesting difference in style going on over here. So we have 2 relics from Mattheus. He's really prioritizing those. And he has a scout positioned right next to one of Heartt's close relics. He took the one in the middle.
Rez, look on the left real quick. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So redemption was just completed from
and he just
convert enemy Mangonels, right? There were 2 Heartt Mangonels there. Heartt assumed the other one was getting converted, so he deleted the wrong one and then ended up losing his Mangonel that was left. That is ridiculous.
That is utterly ridiculous.
Oh man.
Redemption's a good technology. Always get it in these mirror matches, and oops. Hey, at least he gets to kill another monk right there. That's something. But no, by no means no problem. That was unbelievable. And he also, Mattheus just got a pick off on that monk that he was waiting for this entire time. He's like, right behind you.
Yep. So, lots of monks for Mattheus. Conversions will make or break how this next couple minutes go.
You can't tell what you're targeting.
Heartt wants to build a castle, Rez.
He does.
So if he wanted to build it on that forward hill, he could attempt that. There's really no military to stop him from doing that, but it's the monks. It's the Lord Almighty. If he converts you, you're in trouble. I mean, with that many monks, assuming Mattheus can get conversions, he's an arena player. I think Heartt will have to pull back and build his castle defensively, but he's clicked up to Imp.
Heartt deleted his siege workshop the moment the monk threatened to convert that from, it's amazing. Oh, you can convert buildings in this game. That's a fantastic feature. And I love that he actually deleted that because he did not want to give a siege workshop to your opponent. That's a 400 wood swing. You lost 200 wood, your opponent has 400 wood, it's a bunch of time. And Mattheus, he's teching a pikeman. And now that pikemen, spearmen, and halberdiers deal extra damage to all camels, which is a strange nerf to Imperial Camels, but nonetheless, it makes the pikeman technology super, super crucial in this matchup, even more so than it was before.
I find the pikeman switch really peculiar. I mean, you're right, pikes are definitely good versus camels, but the meta for Indians is normally to go with the camels and elite skirm, and elite skirm would do very well versus the pikes. Here comes scouts from Heartt going for the exposed monks on the front. Mattheus possibly venturing too far forward, and he's lost 1 monk. He'll lose 2, and it could lose all of them. Honestly, if Heartt micros this correctly, I'm sure he'll lose them.
God, that attack
so great engagement for Heartt, and Heartt is hitting the Imperial Age any minute now.
That's game-changing, honestly. Losing all of those monks, they're 100 gold apiece, and you have to spend so much time on their education. 475 gold for redemption.
Yeah.
Sanctity, everything, all down the drain. Those poor monks. Losing all of them matters a lot, but he has 3 relics, so he's guaranteed himself that he will always have the relic advantage, and he's going to have a 4th one too. So if this game goes really long, he's in a great position, and like you said, I like how Mattheus has actually denied Heartt from dropping that castle where he wants to, and Mattheus can now hopefully strip mine that gold mine, which is in a horrible position at the front of his base, and hopefully those stone mines as well, now that he has some map control. But we'll see.
Heartt has enough camels, he's taking this engagement, and he'll kill the pikes. Now, I said he'd mix in elite skirm. Heartt will go for hand cannons. He just has to wait for chemistry to complete when he hits the Imperial Age. Actually, he's in Imp, so he's halfway to completing that now. So, bombard cannons is something that Indians get. Hand cannons with their unique upgrade, they get additional range. And Mattheus is just spamming pikemen, which to me is just... He should have something else, right?
Yeah, I don't know how... Okay, look, actually I do know, because I've watched and cast a lot of this game. It's like you said, pikemen are not a staple of this mirror match. I've been playing this mirror match since like 2013, and I can tell you that the halberdiers are okay, but like you said, elite skirmishers do have an attack bonus versus halberdiers, and generally you want to have that range, and hand cannoneers are a thing in this matchup. Not only with sultans with the 10% extra gold income, but also with their unique technology. I'm going to mispronounce this, like Shatnagi or something like that. The hand cannoneers are relevant. Bombard cannons are really useful in these Treb wars. Yeah, the halberdiers are decent, but he needs some substance to his army. He needs something besides mess, halbs, and monks.
Well, I mean, the good thing for Mattheus is with this pikeman spam, he's been able to deny this castle, and the reason that he's gone halberdier is maybe, I'm sorry, I have a bug in my throat, maybe because he knows it takes a while for Heartt to get to his gunpowder. Like, he'll deny that castle on the front, and he could even take out the castle that Heartt has already built, so there's possibilities here, I guess, which is pure halb and monk flood. He is an arena player, and he could now transition into something like hand cannons himself. And he's clicking chemistry. He misclicked ballistics and now click chemistry, so maybe halb hand cannon will be the play, and
block printing?
He's gotten enough momentum to get there.
Okay, so I like halb hand cannon. I think that that is a viable build for the Indians in the mirror match. It's actually a classic one, the classic Res 2013 build, but it's like, I mean, you can't walk into the halberdiers. You're actually ranged. You're not supposed to be taking all that damage. That's too much damage to be taking, actually. So you're not supposed to control him like this. But that being said, I think that Heartt, I like his army better. I really don't understand theocracy. Okay, so
he's going to convert the bombard cannons. He converted one. He will kill the next one. This is quite good for Mattheus, in all honesty. That's a lot of gold down the drain, and the stone for Heartt. And Heartt has to be careful with his bombard cannons now, because it's 12 range for the monks and the bombard cannons, and he'll lose another one if he's not careful. This is... I mean, it caught Heartt off guard as well, I think, right?
I think it would catch anyone off guard. Illumination coming down. Theocracy. I'm res thinking. Is this the counter? Okay, so now I note to self, whenever I do this build, I have to watch out for the mass monks halberdiers. Is pretty scary. He wants to use his bombard cannons to counter the Trebs in the matchup, which is great.
But he can't close in, really.
Because of the block printing illumination theocracy combo. Okay.
So, population's 155 for Heartt, 150 for Mattheus. Heartt has a lot more villagers. He has less military. And at the moment, Mattheus has all the counters, and Heartt has to delete that bombard cannon so he doesn't give it to his opponent. Mattheus could pack up these Trebs and push forward soon, Rez, and I just want to point out that Heartt is now starting to raid with light cav on that right-hand side. Continue.
Ooh, which I think is a great idea as a stall breaker. But I just wonder, have we hit peak Age of Empires? Because I'm pretty sure I'm seeing mass monks, Indians. Sure. I mean, normally when I see this, it's in response to elephant archers. But sure. Ooh.
Well, yeah, versus bombard cannons, it's great.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
Bombard cannons, right? I mean, I don't think he'll make a ton of monks. I think he just needs enough to convert bombard cannons, and it will get more and more difficult now that Heartt is mixing in light cav to snipe the monks.
Which is
and there's the unique upgrade, Shitangi. I also struggle with saying that, so that gives these hand cannons a little bit more firepower.
Yes, a little bit more gunpowder, and. I mean, this
the
is
monks are
shaping
getting
up to be an epic game. God, yeah, they got
another bombard cannon. 2 conversions on bombard cannons, and he's also microing away to save this. That's ridiculous. It's just he needs to get his own hand cannon numbers up, and then I think he's golden. Look, he'll kill the other bombard cannon on the hill, Rez. This is great stuff from Mattheus.
This is absolutely amazing, and I mean, in addition to that, also I think Heartt has an addiction to outposts. As he's built some outposts on the right, and he's like mass migrating villagers all the way on the right side to this gold mine. He wants a secret gold mine, except he's brought a halberdier with him. Oops. I like the light cavalry rating, I do, except he's coming in at probably the wrong angle, and Heartt's building a castle exactly where I thought he would build one earlier on the end to protect the backside of his base, so I think he might be fine. And I really love this build. Block printing gives the monk exactly the same range as a hand cannoneer, so without siege engineers, you don't have the advantage there. And also, bombard cannons have only 40 attack, so the monk will live at 5. So you have a pretty good conversion chance there. I like this weird build.
It works. His halves are not contributing anything except, I guess they're good distraction
killing the light
right now.
Cav a bit. Ooh, that snipe on the Treb.
Wow. It's just, the value in the engagements have been better for Mattheus. He's killed more gold units, he's converted more gold units, and he's only lost out on food and wood. Now, Mattheus needs to continue pushing forward. I'd like to see him pack his trebs up and pressure Heartt's castle, because Heartt has no defense to that right now. However, Heartt is doing a great job trying to pressure the outer edges and getting those additional golds. So it is one thing for him that's good. And yeah, Elite Skirm in the mix now would be interesting because that counters the hand cannons and that counters the Halb. So is it too late for Heartt, though? That's the question.
It might just be, but I do like that, like you said, he's taking advantage of map control, and raiding is the great equalizer that I keep talking about. However, Mattheus is playing so well, he even has some defensive halbs as well as that castle on the hill. There's not much of a great place for Heartt to actually sneak in his hussars until we give hussars an attack bonus versus buildings. That'd be a little spoopy. But in this case, they don't. That's one thing the Indians don't have, and I love this army comp. Like you said, it's gold value. The halbs are meat shields, and they keep the light cav off the army, I guess.
Yeah. This is very similar to Persian's AOC late game meta.
Yeah.
Persian's and Teutons where civs where you can go with knights, but it turns into gunpowder and halbs, and that's not something that Heartt prepared for after going with the camels. And just look at the force now: 192 population for Heartt, or sorry, for Mattheus, 180 for Heartt. And Heartt, his economy's here. His ranges are here. All Mattheus needs to do is kill the production buildings, and then Heartt won't be able to mass units. Heartt could be badly housed if he loses houses as well.
Yeah.
He luckily has
He's really badly housed, actually. He's badly housed by 60!
He's not doing any damage to Mattheus except with a few random light cav, which are from very low HP and will soon die. So can he address this? I think he's waiting for the skirmisher numbers, Rez.
Yeah. That's not that much damage. Now here's what's something that's interesting, though, is even though Heartt is terminally housed, he has a villager lead of 30, because his hussars have finally got into the eco, and the halbs are getting kited a little bit, and the farms are, I mean, these are PGG farms, and no one will get that reference at this point because it's like from 2010. 2010 AOC. Heartt's grabbing ballistics now. That would have come in handy a lot sooner, especially at the insanely long range with the hand cannoneers, but I think it's something worth pointing out. And man, this game is nuts! Here comes the hussars!
Fight, Rez. This fight, the hussars go after the monks. I think many monks will die here. Skirmishers and hand cannons then patrol in behind this. So I like this engagement for Heartt. He's killed a decent number of monks.
He's gonna kill almost all of them. And the women and the children too. And the... Oh no, you just one left.
No. Now Mattheus is branching out on the right-hand side. He got that castle up. He's spamming halbs, maybe towards the additional gold that Heartt has pretty much already collected, in all honesty. Skirmishers is one thing that Mattheus is lacking, though. He's going with halbs and handkins. He's sticking with that. Yeah. Skirmishers might not be a bad idea. Also, Hussar to raid the eco would be very effective because he's the one who has map control. So if he were to start raiding, if he can even afford to do that, then I think it'd benefit him more than it's benefiting Heartt.
Well, Heartt's got an Embracer 49 minutes in the game. He's going to need it for his elite skirms. But here's the thing, 5 trebs, that's a lot of damage, and hey, whoa, this is weird, they're the Indians, and 50 minutes in, we're seeing a heavy camel come out. Yeah. That's interesting, as well as elite skirm.
It's better than Hussar, because of that Pierce, I guess, right? So
it is better.
Start using the camels, there's no halbs for their opponents, so he's just kind of well, this is a PG stream, kids. He's mind-tricked.
Yes, there we go. Heart. He's mind-tricked. Yes.
And Heartt's going into Hussar, so the camels will kill the Hussar, and Mattheus has not been stopped. You know, he's been steamrolling. He's at 195 population. Heartt looking for a response, but he's
Heartt's got good
military
control.
Behind.
He is 50 military behind. I think the elephants in the room is the not elephants. It's actually the trebuchets. They're huge, so I guess it counts. The Trebs are actually sniping off enemy units. I feel like Heartt's controlling his army better in this fight, and that Mattheus got caught off guard a little bit, but man, those Trebs have so many confirmed kills. What snipers? He is pushing Mattheus back a bit, but guess what Mattheus has? He's got something that I really don't have fun playing against. It's called Sultans plus 4 relics.
Yeah. Well, and this is before the camels as well. So once the Camels come in here, I think Heartt's dead. I don't see any way back for him.
No,
His
no
main
Camels,
army can't
please.
even engage just as is, right? So if the Camels arrive, even just 5 to 10 of them with all the defense upgrades, and they will be there as plate barding is being researched, Heartt will have no response to this.
Oh my goodness.
He will have absolutely no response to this. He cannot raid Mattheus on the flanks now. Mattheus has castles everywhere. He even has a castle in Heartt's corner next to that TC. And now here come the Camels, and I think Heartt is realizing, I'm doomed.
Finally, T90, it's happened. Bigger army diplomacy is working, just like it did throughout most of history. In a nutshell is how I would sum that up. 80 to 30 military population, even though Mattheus has been behind on villagers by a significant margin of 30 for a very prolonged period of time. Bigger army diplomacy just works very well in life. And
Dude, it's so
what an impressive
weird.
series. What an impressive series, and so strange, too.
I mean, it's not weird because it's bad. He just finished Imperial Camel, the guy's insane. It's not weird because it's bad, but
He still got it. It's okay,
How
guys. He
he-
still got it.
the finishing blow was Camel. It was not
Yes.
the first thing he did. It was the last thing he did in the Imperial Age. And
Amazing.
now that we've seen it executed, it makes sense, right? The Halbs counter the initial Camel push from Heartt. Then you go into hand cannons yourself. Monks was a very key thing in this because he converted the bombard cannons. And then right when his opponent started mixing in hussars, he started adding skirms. And also on top of all of this, he got the relics, he macroed hard, and he had the resources to do this as well. He would not have been able to do this with less economy, that's for sure.
I mean, Heartt is such a good player. It takes some creative play from Mattheus. And I think that's one of the reasons why Age of Empires 2 has survived and thrived as an esport for so long, because there are so many units and series of plays that you can do. And in this case, it is amazing and beautiful to see the Imperial Camel used as the finishing blow, because absolutely, that was it. The moment the Imperial Camels come out, now Heartt has been baited into an army, like a siren baited, and now it just gets mopped up by the Imperial Camels. This was an incredible series, T90, and what a pleasure it was to cast it with you. My goodness.
All right, man, let's move to the achievements. I know, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
Wow.
So 316 kills for Heartt. He had more kills. I believe that was because of the initial Imperial Age push with all the pikes and halbs, right? He was losing a lot of them,
I think
Mattheus,
so.
but like the value in the losses was very different. 5, 6, maybe more bombard cannons Heartt lost. He lost trebuchets as well. He lost castles, and Mattheus just lost halbs. So then we have to look at the eco, and Mattheus had taken some additional gold piles. He had the relics. The gold's the big one. He had more gold than he would have had more coming in, because I believe Heartt was almost out, and he had a couple more piles and the relics. The booms themselves were pretty close, I'd say, but their Imperial Age times were close. It was pretty much just the strategy choice that they utilized. So, and that makes it beautiful for me, because sometimes you can see someone choose a nice strategy, but they're just too far behind in eco for that to work. But in this case, they both were level on eco, and Mattheus just outsmarted Heartt.
Yeah, we see it time and time again where just having the bigger economy wins the game, but here it was just tactics. And Age of Empires 2 strikes such an excellent balance between the two of them. And this was an unorthodox way of playing the Indians, but it just makes sense. I love the way that we broke it down together. This was so sick to see it unfold. And Imperial Camels is the finishing blow. Alright. Gonna have to try that in my own time. What an absolute pleasure this game was. GG well played. And again, major shoutouts to Escape Gaming for hosting the tournament, for inviting us to cast. Definitely appreciate it, as well as Microsoft for sponsoring the event. What a blast. What an absolute blast.
Yeah, I just want to jump in real quick, guys. Thanks for the cast. It was really, really entertaining to listen to, and obviously to watch along as well. But that last game, that was probably my favorite of the day, actually. So it was a great high to sort of end the matches on today. And I think T90 said, that previous game, the one on the Scandinavia, was the best. I don't know what you guys think, but I think that one took the cake for me.
Well, it
They're both
depends.
so good.
So the last game was great, but the meta is very defined in that matchup, right? So we knew what was going to happen. I think for the wow factor, because of the strategy, this one takes the cake.
Yeah.
So it's like
thinking too.
maybe from the game elements themselves, because there was so much going on, the last game was better, but this strategy, the wow factor was definitely here with this final game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I just want to take a quick look at the bracket here as well, so everyone at home can sort of see the context that this game is played in. That was a round of 16 game. Mattheus advances past Hearttt, and he will play versus the winner of Viper versus ACCM, which will be streaming tomorrow. And then the last round of 16 game tomorrow will be Dogao versus the Max. The winner of that will play versus Vivi in the round of 8. But obviously, Hearttt getting knocked out here in the first round, you could call that a little bit of an upset. I think
For sure.
We probably had Hearttt as the favorite. But you got to think of this on the broader context of the tournament as well. It's not only that he gets knocked out and he doesn't win any prize money, but he also doesn't have a chance to score Aftermath any points in the league table, which you guys will see tomorrow. The lack of points here for Aftermath could be a problem because teams like Secret, who are going to go far in this tournament, might already be getting a points lead over Aftermath from the very start here.
Yeah, huge upset, man. And if there was any matchup
Surprising.
today where there was going to be an upset, it was this one. And I'm glad
Yeah.
Mattheus delivered.
You were right, T90. You were right. I knew he was underrated. I knew that he was really good. I've seen him play fantastically. But, man, after, like, he learned from that first game, just processed everything, and I was like, okay, alright, not again. That was just an amazing way to end off the day. And I also think that this should hopefully encourage everyone watching live to continue coming back. Because this isn't the only series, and it's not... It can only get better.
Yeah, and tomorrow we're going to be resuming at 14 GMT, and there on your screens are all the matches that we will have tomorrow in order as well. So if you're around tomorrow, come tune in again. 14 GMT right here, and we'll be starting with the Max versus Dogao. Then we'll have ACCM versus Viper, Doubt versus Lyri. I mean, sick games already. Mr. Yo versus Zuppy, and then we'll continue on.
Awesome.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for casting today. You can follow T90 and Resonance22 on Twitch. Their links are in the chat. Pleasure as always, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. It was an absolute pleasure casting with T90 today. I had a lot of fun, and as always, it's great working with you, Zach. These games and this tournament, oh, it's been a blast so far. Yeah, and I hope that all of you come back tomorrow, because tomorrow's gonna be awesome. So,
Yep. Thank you very
stay
much
tuned.
to everyone involved. Thank you, Rez.
Thank
It was
you.
fun to co-cast with you. I will be back tomorrow for the second half of the day. Looking forward to those games, but make sure to be here at 14 GMT if you can to see Dogao versus the Max. See you guys.
And if you're also confused as to when the tournament starts, but you know the dates, it's usually 14 GMT. And we also have the schedule widget below. So, thank you again, everybody. Thank you so much to Microsoft, T90, Zero Empires, and the entire community. You can follow us on our individual pages. Make sure to follow Escape Aoe as well. Cheers. Thank you. This Age of Empires 2 video was funded by my loyal supporters on Patreon. I really appreciate those of you that pledge on Patreon, as even just as little as a few dollars a month allows me to produce more and better content. In addition, special thanks to my Twitch subscribers and donors. Lastly, another way to support the channel for free is to follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook, as well as not using adblock and not skipping my ads. Every like and comment, either on my social media or YouTube, makes a huge difference, and I always take the time to read all of them, tweets included. Let me know if you enjoyed the game and my commentary, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next Twitch stream or YouTube video coming soon.